Hey guys, today we're gonna cover a game that was played between Magnus Carlsen and Gukesh in the Super United Croatia Rapid Team Blitz. For people who don't know, their last game was probably a month ago, where they played a long and exhausting classical game in the Norway chess, which eventually Magnus Carlsen lost. He was winning, but eventually he won that he lost. He smashed the table, and yeah, a lot of headlines. You have to know about it. There's no you don't know. So yeah, today is Magnus's revenge, right? So it's either Magnus's revenge or Gukesh just doubles down, right? Wins again. And I assume the previous world champion, best player of all time, as people say, is pretty motivated to be the young kid, right? Which is the current world champion, you know. So let's see what happened here. Let's see what happened. Carlsen goes with the English. Gukesh responds with this line, where he actually wants to give up his dark square bishop just to join white structure, which he does. And you know, you don't have the bishop pair, which white has, but at least white has like destroyed pawn structure. Okay, so Carlsen just takes this, right? He wants to control the light squares, right? That's what he does, and Gukesh takes some space. Here, the first interesting move of the game was knight to f1. In my opinion, this is such an interesting move. He wants just to lead out his knight here, and eventually, if Gukesh decides to trade off his knights and stuff, Magnus just can normalize his pawn structure, and it's gonna be a pretty pawn structure here, right? Eventually, and additionally to that, this bishop now is free. This bishop can come here, can do a lot of things, which he actually does. So what are you doing if you're Gukesh? You want to chase this away, right? Because it's really annoying. This pin is really annoying, and Gukesh does totally that accordingly. And yeah, well, then now he comes here. He plays bishop to d7. So Stockfish wanted either a4, which is an interesting move. It just taps, I guess, b3 or something. I don't really understand this move. Or the interesting queen to b8. Queen to b8 is such a stupid move, in my opinion. I mean, I guess it prepares b5, right? b5 is not a bad move, but this does the same thing eventually. So I guess, yeah. But queen b8 is accordingly better, right? It's not that bad, though. It's not that bad. Queen e7 is the third best move, which he plays. And now Carlsen just comes here. He could have castled queen side, but I guess he was scared of this because, yeah, I guess that's an idea in this opening. So he just consolidates the light squares, and Gukesh wants to attack his bishop. So what do you do here, Carlsen? Do you want to put this bishop back and have the bishop pair, or do you care if he takes and then you just have this strong rook on this line? Because now if you take, imagine if black takes the bishop, now white has this really annoying, this really strong line, which I'm sure black doesn't want to have, right? So that's what he does. He just plops his knight here, threatening his queen firstly, and then check if the queen moves somewhere, right? Not right now, because you're gonna take the queen, right? But eventually, if he moves the queen, you have this. Now the knight too. The knight does defend it again. It doesn't matter because knight comes here, queen comes here, then we're threatening this eventually. So that's what happens. Now we take this squares. Black desperately needs some space. This piece doesn't bleed. This piece is kind of dead as well. This piece is the best piece, and these pieces do nothing. So it basically don't have anything. You can't do a lot. You don't have play. So that's why he does that. Now Carlsen just plops his knight here. And yeah, Gukesh says this bishop is kind of useless. I don't have the bishop pair. I'm just gonna take this strong knight. But I don't think it's a big problem for Carlsen. Look at this amazing pawn structure. But it's a close position too. So in close positions, bishop pair is not that good eventually. Just two knights are still, I assume, as good as the bishop pair. Even better. In close position, they're better. Okay, so Gukesh just decides to go back, which is the first kind of big mistake into the game. Gukesh wants to take this bishop, I assume. There's nothing else. Carlos says, okay, I gave you a chance earlier. Now I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. You're not gonna take my bishop. And here it's an interesting move. Best move into the position, king e7. King e7, best move. I guess castle's really bad because you can just go h4 and look at this pressure. If you play this is really bad. You can probably just take the knight first, right? But yeah, Gukesh sees this. I assume he wants to protect this knight eventually if that happens. So he just goes king f8. Interesting move. And now we start with the pushing the pawns, here playing this bishop, trying to go here or here, I assume. Gukesh says to defend it, and now we're still playing on this side of the board. Here, interesting move is b4. b4 is okay. So what happens here? I assume in my 2000 rated eyes, you know, not that good. But what I think was Magnus was scared if he plays this, you know, like you're just losing this pawn, right? So he wants to prevent that. So what he does is he just goes b4. He wants to push away this knight. But I don't know. I guess he saw it, but I don't know. He didn't calculate accordingly. Like that, the knight can just go on a4. a4 it's a fine knight. He can just go here eventually, here, just slid out. It's totally okay for this knight. And yeah, I guess he saw this, that he can just take this. But what he missed was this amazing following of moves. Look at this. How do you defend this pawn? You can't defend this pawn, but you can go c6, takes, d5, takes, and then takes with the knight. That's such a good move, man. I've never seen it. I would never play that. I would never in my life I would play this. But I guess Gukesh saw it, and if you see the time, both have 10 minutes. Both have 10 minutes. So now he consolidates. And yeah, develop the pieces. The rook now stares into the queen, and we can just take this pawn eventually, right? The pawn is no threat. Here, another mistake by Magnus Carlsen. Why is this a mistake? Because of knight dc4, knight dc3, my bad. And it's a mistake because of this, right? Magnus says, okay, I'll just pin it. If you take, we're gonna take. And now this rook has to move. This, you're just pinned. Okay, you take h2. Now I can just take a4. What do you do now? Look at this strong bishop. Look at this strong pawn. I don't know what do you do here. You feel black. So Gukesh, of course, doesn't do that. He just takes this, takes, and now you have two pieces for a rook. And the game is equal. You can say it's equal. But white has these three strong pawns that if black neutralizes, black is winning. So how will you do that against Magnus Carlsen, arguably the best endgame player of all time? Let's see. So first things first, Gukesh plays this. I have to plug this knight here. Just stop this, the rook from stealing the pawn. Eventually take this pawn, right? That's what he does. Comes here. And here, both had 5 minutes. Okay, Carlsen had 4 minutes. This move, rook to c5, took him 3 minutes. So the biggest blunder in the game took him like 3 minutes. And now he has a minute and a half. He doesn't have a lot of time. And of course, Gukesh finds the best move. For no apparent, I don't really understand why he plays this e4. He could have played knight to bc4. Like, he could have just played this. But of course, that's the best move, only move. Or maybe this. Was it this? Yeah, I think this to threaten this pawn, right? And if he pushes, you can just take it. Doesn't really matter. And if you defend it here, you can just go e4. Okay, what happened here is you can just go straight e4, stop this, stop a lot of things, right? And if he takes, you have this check, right? If you take with white, you have this, and then you just take this rook, right? Move, I guess you move here, and you lose the rook, and you lose the game. Like, you lose the game. Okay, so Magnus sees that and moves his queen with check. Gukesh goes back here. Stockfish says f6 best move. Blah blah blah. I mean, king g8 is totally fine too. And he double stacks, of course. What do you do? What do you do if you're black here? You can just take this pawn. I assume I'll take the pawn, probably. Like, if you take the pawn, if he takes, this is checkmate. Almost. It's gonna be checkmate eventually. But let's see. Gukesh, he takes this pawn, and now another big blunder here. Magnus goes rook to e5. Stockfish, of course, I would probably play worse moves. I could probably just push and just blunder mating too. This and this type. But here, the problem with rook to e5 is this move. Queen to h3. Queen to h3 just totally wins the game for black on the spot. You can't stop this. You just can't stop this. You can't stop taking and check. You just can't. Like, you can't defend it like this. You're just losing like this then. And what do you do here? Best move is king to e1. King to e1. This is the best move. But yeah, best human move is just to take, which he does. And now Gukesh attacks this rook. You know, now two knights are defending each other, attacking these squares. Like, yeah, and this is a weird move. I don't really understand it as a move. I don't know what does that do. Maybe if he takes, let's say takes, or maybe like, let's say if takes, knight c4 is a move again. I don't really understand. So you come here, you take with check. I mean, yeah, you're losing this. You're losing this game. I assume, yeah, this is actually made in one. Queen g4. This is crazy. Oh, this is not queen g4. This is queen g4. This is made in one. No, that's crazy because this knight stabs this. This rook stabs this. Knight stabs this. Queen stabs this. Everything. So that's such a beautiful move. Okay. I guess he saw it later because he had 19 seconds. So what he did was he took with this pawn. But now you just go f5, right? You have f5, you have this check. Now you can just check again. This knight can move here eventually, and it's bad for black. And Carlsen has like 45 seconds because of the increment. But yeah, what do you do here? Comes here threatening the rook. Now you have this check again, and now you're just threatening the queen. And they take, and eventually just Magnus decides to resign, and Gukesh wins another game. Two in a row. That's crazy. World champion beats Magnus Carlsen again. That should hurt. But yeah, the game was really, really nice, really interesting. I've never expected Gukesh to beat Magnus in rapid. I expected him to beat him, to be more dominant in classical chess. But yeah, we'll see how he does in blitz, because yeah, blitz, I don't think Gukesh is gonna win, but in rapid he showed great improvement. He won against the world champion, like the previous world champion. Yeah, that really caught me by surprise. I never expected this to happen that early, but yeah, everything can happen, I guess. Youngers are coming. Yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Peace.